the reason I put in the condom, and this is funny because I hadn't thought about this in years. This will sound like the Stone Age to you guys because you're much younger. I grew up in a town, I went to high school in a town of 1,200 people. It was still very much I would call it a boys' town, like lots of hunting, fishing, ice fishing, skiing, sledding. Women were, married young, had their kids, and kind of disappeared is the only way I can put it. They disappeared. And marriage, I remember Jessie Bernard once said, a sociologist, she said, marriage is a great deal for men and children, but not so great for women. And I remember reading that and thinking, yep. When women did not have access to birth control, and biologically the sex drive is strong, I had numerous friends who got pregnant. And back in the day, there was no abortion. If you could find a doctor, you could get someone to do the job. And then if you started bleeding out, you went to the emergency room. And I had two friends, older sisters, that they told me later on it was like the most terrifying experience of their lives, which is why abortion must always be safe and legal. But you had two choices. And I had two girlfriends in high school who their beginning of their senior year or summer of their junior year, whatever, they went to visit their aunt and they came back and they looked gutted. And I never forgot the look in their eye, like dead eyes, because they had had their baby and given it up for adoption. Because that was the option, or you cornered the guy and married him. And if he thought he was trapped, it was not a good marriage, and it usually ended up in divorce. So birth control, back then, I worked at a drugstore and the condoms were in a glass case behind the pharmaceutical counter. You could only buy them if you were married. This is how bad things were. When I look back, it's like, God, it was like the Stone Age. But the thing was, I couldn't in good faith, and all the romances, the historicals, of course, they would have sex and then she'd be pregnant and there'd be a big brouhaha, but in the end, he would love the baby. But with the contemporary, I thought, I can't do this. I can't do this. And I had interesting parents because my mother is from Puerto Rico, staunch Roman Catholic, could not have the sex talk with me. So my dad was like, this is very embarrassing, but we're going to have the sex talk. And I don't think I can look at you while we do this, but you need to be protected. And I remember he told me teenage boys will do anything. They would do a knothole in a plank. You have to understand this about male nature. And he said, they will tell you, I love you. They will promise you the moon. And you are a very romantic girl. And you will have sex with him. And Monday morning, he will be telling all his friends at school and you will be brokenhearted. And that did happen to one of my girlfriends where she gave it up to a guy and she was the town pump for the last 2 years of high school. And she never had a boyfriend because she didn't dare. And I remember thinking, God, that's awful. But, my dad taught college and he said many a woman's college career was derailed because some guy said, I love you, I'll be with you forever. And she ended up raising the baby with her and her mom and dropping out of school. And he said, I don't want that for you. I don't know how more plainly to put it. And I was like, got it, Dad, got it. Because he was he said, I don't expect you to be a virgin when you're married. It's different times, but pick a man who likes women. And I was, at 16, so stupid, 14. Daddy, all men like women. He's like, no, they don't. Pick a man who really does like and treasure women. So when I approached Untamed Heart, I thought, okay, I've got to somehow put birth control into it. And I said to Vivian, can I do that? And she said, if you can figure out a way to make it work, I'm all for it.